could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. bloody and stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off, I'ma break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts. Never waste time, you got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off, what do you like? Make a dream job, no 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they're scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they're scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off, I'ma break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts. Never waste time, you got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off, what do you like? Make a dream job, no 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they're scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. Your check is I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like
Hello everybody, happy Saturday. Let me cut this music off. I've been, as you can see from the chat, I've been very busy this morning. Welcome to Case by Case. Today, this is episode 49 of the Delphi Vault, and we are picking up where we left off last week. We are going to start with Quester's timeline. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like and subscribe. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll be bringing Quester on here in just a moment. I want to do some house cleaning here really quick, just about some upcoming things. First of all, I just lost my track of mind. First of all, if you're a creator watching, feel free to drop your channel link in the chat. We're all here doing the same work, so I want everybody to get to see everybody that's out here working hard in the community, not just in Delphi, but in the true crime community. I have also created the link for oral arguments that are taking place in September on Monday, the 21st. As of right now, I do plan on attending. We are planning the research trip. If you check out my community posts on YouTube, I posted, it's kind of like a flyer giving you all the details about the trip. This will be my 4th year in a row going. But this year, I have a little bit more of a focus on exactly what my research is lacking. And there's actually going to be some other fellow creators that are planning on attending right now. Streets of Bakersfield will be coming in from California. Shabugs is still invited from California. Critical Thinker will be there with us from Indiana. Julie Melvin, and my friend that has done some great video work for me from, she's, I can't even think of the state that she's from. I think she's from Indiana, but it's the Queen of the Hill. And I'll be promoting some of her. She's starting a business, and she's going to be doing some photography and videography work. She's just purchased a bunch of new equipment, so she's super excited, and she's going to kind of be our little mini camera studio, following us around while we do some of our research, and hopefully that way you guys get a better view of what we're doing. So if you want to support the trip, we are planning on being out there for about a week. I'm hoping nothing changes. My surgery is scheduled for August. So I will still be off work. So I'm hoping that I'll still be able to go. But I do have the live stream up. It is going to be streamed live from the courts. If I'm in Delphi, Quester doesn't know it yet, but Quester might be streaming it live for me. He's probably going, what is she talking about? We talked about this before, Quester. I volunteer you as tribute. So on top of that, I'm going to be dropping some links periodically throughout the chat today. Everybody go over and check out Angel Eyes' new channel. He just started a new channel. And I am going live on his channel on Monday morning to talk about Ashley Garth's case. So let me drop again, or Angel Eyes, you go ahead and drop your link in there. And I have been in the process of building a Patreon. When that is available, I will get the link out. If you want to join as a Patreon, I will be doing a lot of behind the scenes work here in my little room, showing you guys kind of like stuff that I do before I go live and how I get kind of hectic. And also some insight into my daily, my animals. And I know a lot of you guys are absolutely obsessed with Rocky. I need to get him more exposure. He's asking me like, okay, when am I going live? So an interesting fun fact about him really quick. My granddaughter, who's turning 2 this month, she is being potty trained. So I had Rocky do a video that I sent her saying, "Oh my God, Rocky is so excited that you are going to be a big girl and, get potty trained. And I want to hear all about it. So I'm going to call on you daily and check on you." So I guess she had my daughter play that video for her like 100 times. She was like, more Rocky, more Rocky. So, hey, got to get it in when I can. So let me bring on the most amazing co-host ever. Hello, Quester.
Hello, Amy. Where's this most amazing co-host then?
I just brought him on. Yes, there he is.
Where?
There he is.
Hello, everyone.
So, how is your Saturday going? Is your weather nice over there across the pond, or is it yucky like it is here in Ohio?
It's hot and sticky.
Yeah, it's hot and sticky here, and there's absolutely no sun whatsoever. So, Quester, I'm going to let you, instead of me doing all the talking, I am going to let you recap a little bit of last week's live and where we're picking up at. Do you remember?
To be honest, not sure.
Okay, so let me remove the video here. We'll recap for everybody really quick. So we started off last week going over, that's a new one, some of these pinned areas. I believe this was, this is what we discussed about the turnaround of the GPS, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
We were discussing how she'd gone along the West 400 quite a way, then turned around. And this is where they appeared to go up to the property and then come down and carry on west. And that was the last position on the road, wasn't it?
Yes. So for those of you who weren't here last week, so we've been talking about not only the phone data and pointing out all of the anomalies that we have found. That doesn't mean that they're factually anomalies. It's things that we feel going forward, wherever this case leads, the defense team, the previous defense team or a new one, if it goes that far, and Rick goes into post-conviction relief, these are anomalies that we want to make available for everyone to look at. And obviously it would come down to an expert to make those decisions, but we definitely want to highlight them and point them out. And this right here is we're discussing the fact that I believe there's missing time from the last GPS location from the girls in the car until they pop up on the trail. So we talked about that. We talked about Cheyenne. We're going to talk a lot more about Cheyenne. We're going to go over this chaotic timeline that those on the trail at the time of the abduction. And these people cannot keep their story straight to save their life. And we've over the past week, we have been kind of rehashing all of the access that we've had to the screenshots, the Facebook posts, the text messages from Shelby Hicks's grandfather. As you guys all know, I've stated there was a tip that came in to the Orion tip file. We know who made the tip. We are not allowed to release the name at this time, but it was someone who would know, made the tip on February 14th that Daniel Pearson was on the bridge at 2 p.m. So taking all of that into account, we're going to discuss how we feel it affects the timeline. This is something that we've been going over for months now. And it is one of the main focuses that I feel wasn't focused on at trial. And things the jury, of course, they heard from Shelby Hicks, they heard from Cheyenne, but they were never questioned as far as, okay, well, this is what you're saying today, but this is not what you said in 2017, and why has your story changed? And then showing the jury the proof. That was never done. And again, it's bothersome when you hear the juror that gave an interview claim that, well, who else could it be? It had to be Rick Allen. No one else was there. Well, we're proving that there were quite a few people there. And we've talked about this. I'm going to get to this later. These are some things that I added to the presentation because we cut off last week right when we began to discuss Questor's timeline. So we're going to pick up there so we make sure we get that done this week on this episode. So again, thanks everybody for being here. We appreciate all of you. There's so much that goes into what we do here behind the scenes, and liking and subscribing is the best way you can support this channel. Hyping the video when the video is over. And if you want to join as a member, or if you want to join the Patreon when I post the link, that would be great. All of it helps pay the bills here. So Questor, without further ado, let's talk about this timeline. And I want you to explain it, what they're looking at.
Right, what you've got up at the moment is Cheyenne. Cheyenne's timeline has always been a mess. She's never been able to say the same story twice without getting it wrong. So it's been very hard to work out what on earth was going on with her. We've received more information on a lot of things, and we finally managed to find out exactly what she's wrong on, shall we say. Now, a lot of this, it's the result of what other people are saying and tying that into where she can share. The heat's getting me. Where Cheyenne could be rather than where she says she is. Because a lot of the times where she said she was, she just could not be. So what we've done is we've started with the other people's confirmatory positions and transferred them to where Cheyenne should be, according to that. And effectively, it's moved her whole story earlier by about an hour to an hour and a half. So this is basically her story at the time that I believe it should be.
And I just want to point out, this is not made up. We have extremely a large amount of posts from Cheyenne. And this one right here, she emphatically says, oh, and I got to the trails around 2:15, 2:20. Took the picture everyone talks about before 3 from one of the platforms. So again, when we're talking about seeing individuals in the foreground from the still shot that we've got from the BG video, and we believe that what we're seeing are people standing at the north end of the bridge, I'm not saying they participated in this abduction. What I'm saying is there were people there that the jury never heard about. And that is a problem. Go ahead, Questor.
Well, as you just showed, she said that she was on the bridge, what was it, just before 3. Well, her the photograph that everyone talked about was had the timeline of 3:49, which is almost an hour after what she's saying. So I've dug into that a bit, and from what I can find out, that 3:49 is it's a bit mischievous, shall we say. It appears that it's not even her photo. It was taken by her. It appears that it was taken by her friend who was there, and then put on Snapchat.
And
Cheyenne. Sorry, go on.
Cheyenne also numerous times made it a point to say that she didn't have service, so she posted it later.
That's correct, yeah. And she put the time on it herself, apparently, which means we can just forget about the time on it. It's useless. It says 3:49, but it could be anything on that. The other thing is, as I think we mentioned in the last live, it's got fog in it, and there was no fog that day. The nearest fog was very early in the morning on the 12th. So the picture doesn't even look like it was of that day.
And I've got some, we'll go back to that after we go over this, because I do have some data about the fog and the timing of the fog and whatnot, and I'll show you. So go ahead. Sorry.
Did you check out that link I sent you?
Which one?
The one of the historic
yes.
weather.
Yes. And I think the only time that there would have been fog on the 13th was like between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. Something, I think, if I remember correctly.
And that was on the 12th.
Okay. What was it again on the 13th?
There wasn't any.
None at all. Okay.
None at all. Nor the 14th.
Sorry, guys. Jacoby has just realized that he can sit up here in front of me while I'm live. So say hi, Jacoby. Say hi, baby. Go ahead.
Right. So what we found with some data from other people is we've had to shove Cheyenne sometimes back an hour, something like that. And we've got things like Cheyenne saying she saw Shelby Hicks in her car at Mears Lot at 2:45. But we know Shelby Hicks was in her car at 1:30. Therefore, if Cheyenne saw her, she saw her at 1:30, not at 2:45. So you can see that also ties in with we're having to shove it back an hour and a half. And when we do that, we end up with Cheyenne and her friend, with an S on it, plural, on the bridge, starting at 1:38. Now that's about 15 minutes after the abduction.
And just to reiterate, so anyone who's listening who's not familiar with all of this, and I apologize because we can't every live go back and explain everything. You have to go back and watch earlier episodes. We've gone over the screen. We've gone over the text messages from Shelby Hicks's grandfather, who was adamant about when Daniel Pearson arrived at the trails. Daniel Pearson drove separately, and he arrived at 1 o'clock. All of these details that you are seeing come together in this, these are not guesses. And that, you have to just go back and watch how we've progressed through this and how we've acquired additional information along the way. And even this week, we've acquired new information that we don't have permission to share at the moment. But we even have statements from Shelby Hicks saying that that she arrived at the bridge between 1 and 2. That's not what she testified to. So that's where this timeline is coming from. It's a collective amount of information. And we've tried to shave away, okay, well, this can't be true because we know that this person, like prime example, David Riley, we know what time he roughly got there because he had a receipt from the vet. So we've been able to use situations like that and talk about what he described seeing versus what other people describe seeing, and we're trying to pin down the most accurate factual timeline for all of these people. So if you're not quite like, where are they getting these times, go back and watch the previous episodes. Again, this is episode 49. So we have a lot for you guys to catch up on if you're kind of new to the case or new to the channel. So go ahead, Quester.
As Amy was saying, we have other confirmatory information, such as from David Riley. We've got Brian Mars. We've got lots of different people saying certain things are happening at certain times. And those people generally have proof of what they're saying. And because of that, we can then say, well, for example, if you say you saw Daniel 10 minutes before you went to the vets, then that has got to place Daniel 10 minutes before the time of your vets. It's that sort of carrying things through. But anyway, with Cheyenne, what we've got now is we're pretty certain she arrived at the bridge at 1:38. And she said that her friends were on the bridge for 30 minutes, which means she was there from 1:38 to 8 minutes past 2. Now that time is very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It is.
Working out how long it takes to walk from one end to the other, we've allowed 6 minutes for her to get across the bridge. Probably took longer because she was taking photos and dawdling and so on. But we said that she was probably at the south end of the bridge, round about 1:44, 1:45, something like that. Now that's still before Libby and Abby got to the bridge. In fact, that's about when Libby and Abby arrived at the trials. And we have Cheyenne and Shelby at the south end of the bridge. Were you about to say something?
Yes, because I know a lot of people are now. Remember, this is based off of all of the information that came from factual sources. And when I say sources, I'm not talking about like people who know them. I'm talking about like the new information we acquired this week, posts, statements made by these individuals directly out of their own mouth, posted on social media, their trial testimony. Now, I know right now a lot of people are going to be going, well, how is this possible? Because Betsy Blair didn't say that she saw additional girls. And I think, Quester, maybe you think that Betsy Blair may be confused, that maybe she didn't see Abby and Libby, that maybe it was Shelby and Cheyenne. And I pointed out
it's a possibility.
I had pointed out that they both had blonde hair. Now, here's an interesting fun fact. So, like always, I'm going back years and years and years, and didn't have to go back too many years, because if you guys remember, right after the trial, Christine Salter, one of the private investigators that worked with the defense, was on True Grit Crime shortly after the trial. And one of the episodes was called Giving You the Business. I believe that's the episode, Giving You the Business. And she's discussing the notes and information that she had about the tips and the witnesses. And she doesn't say where she got the information. But she does state that Cheyenne claimed, and I've never seen this documented. So I don't know if this is a tip that I've never had access to, or if this was an interview that Christine did. I'm not sure. You can go and listen for yourself. It's the video is there on True Grit Crime. I believe it's called Gritty's channel. It's Gritty's channel. But Christine states that Cheyenne and Shelby, when they reached the south end of the bridge, not only did they go off the bridge to use the restroom, but they went down the right side of the bridge down the hill, not the hill that we know of that Abby and Libby went down. It's the other hill, and they went under the bridge. Those were her words. So where did that information come from? And did it come directly from an interview that she did with one of them? Because that's not what Cheyenne testified to. But we do know that they went off the south end of the bridge and used the restroom. But Cheyenne never stated that they ventured down the hill. Christine says that that's what Cheyenne and Shelby did. So that opens a whole nother can of worms as to, was Daniel Pearson standing on the first platform, appearing to be looking for someone, as Betsy Blair so notably stated? He appeared to be waiting or looking for someone. And if the Shelby and Cheyenne had already crossed the bridge, were they off the bridge and out of sight? I don't even know in February, because I know in October when you're at the north end of the bridge, you can't see fully the end of the bridge. Again, that's why I know that from the south end of the bridge, what you're seeing behind Abby is not the barrier, because you can still see bridge behind what I call individuals standing actually on the bridge. You can see bridge trestles behind them. But that's how we come up with this process of this timeline, is all these cans of worms throughout the years have continued to never be closed, and nobody questions them. Nobody questions them. It's just like, oh, you were here at what time? And they never stop to think, okay, well, if she's here at this time and this person's here at this time and they don't see each other, or you can't be here at this time because these people were here and you were nowhere to be seen. That's where the problems come up in this timeline. Go ahead, Quester.
Yeah, I agree. And that's where this next bit backs up what you've been saying. We know Cheyenne and her friend, plural, would have been at the south end of the bridge around about 8 minutes past 2. And we know that the down the hill video is 13 minutes past 2. So it's a 5-minute difference, which means they were on top of each other. Now, the other thing on here is that Cheyenne said that a short time after getting to the south end, she saw a couple of guys at the north end. Now, that seems a bit iffy because as Amy was just saying, it's very hard to see from the other end. But she saw a couple of guys at the north end. So that would have been about, 5-6 minutes past 2. And those who were watching last week will remember we were discussing whether that was a couple of people standing at the north end about 5 minutes past 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got almost a confirmation that it is 2 people.
And she indicated, if I remember correctly reading that, she indicated that the older gentleman lingered around the north end of the bridge for a little bit, which is an interesting statement, seeing how she claimed she passed him leaving the Monon High Bridge as her and Shelby Duncan were coming in.
That's
prior
right.
to getting to the Monon High Bridge.
Yeah, she saw the white-haired guy who appears would have been Dave McCain, and then she saw this couple of guys.
And then she also describes David McCain as being old and very overweight. Now, I can't determine. There's only a handful of pictures that I've seen of David and Dan McCain. They don't look overweight. They look older, but they don't look overweight to me. And as far as I'm aware, they still are both physically active doing their, they do some sort of like taekwondo or some sort of a fighting type physical activity that I believe keeps them in shape. So when she describes somebody who's heavily overweight, I'm like, would that really have been Dan McCain? Because Cheyenne's really the only one who described him that way.
Yeah. And she reckoned he was, what, 80 to 90 or something like that, didn't she?
Mm-hmm. Who dis? You are absolutely right. And here's the problem. That's what Rayleigh testified to, was that she saw the grumpy guy that she later said, yes, the bridge guy photo is the guy that I saw as we were leaving the trails. She said she saw him at 2:15. That's her trial testimony. And it was reiterated 2 minutes before 2:13. And she said, yes. You can't make it make sense, but that is now the record in this case.
But also Rayleigh's times, these correlations show that her times are wrong as well. But
Yes.
with Cheyenne, we now hit an interesting point. Her timings say that she left the bridge about 2 minutes, about 8 minutes past 2, left at the south end. Then she goes silent. And we know nothing whatsoever about her until at 15:27. Her phone geolocates between 60 and 100 yards from the crime scene. 60 to 100 yards isn't even halfway towards the bridge from there.
Do you have the meters of error in that geolocation information like we have?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't, but geolocation is usually about 5 meters maximum.
Right.
So it's not that far. But the other thing is to note the time, 15:27. And we all remember that LE said it was all over at 3:30.
Originally, that's what they said.
That's what they were saying, yeah. And then they dropped it down to 2:30. So it's Cheyenne's phone is putting her in a position where she should be a POI. She was never even considered as one.
Mm-hmm.
You've also got to remember. Sorry?
No, go ahead. I'll wait.
You also got to remember that she wasn't on her own. Now, the times would allow for Cheyenne and her friend or friends to have been standing at the south end of the bridge at the time that the video was being taken. That could allow for what a lot of people think is that they can hear other girls' voices in the background. It would also explain why Abby and Libby didn't seem to be too concerned, because they've got friends there.
Right. Well, I forget what I was getting ready to say. Oh, what I was going to say was the fact that I find it literally interesting that Cheyenne and Daniel Pearson were both truly pressing law enforcement to speak with them. And that I don't like, you got Daniel Pearson, excuse me, contacting law enforcement on the early afternoon of the 14th. wanting to get his version of events out. You've got Cheyenne contacting. Now, in a case like this, that would make sense, except for the fact that their narratives are somewhat different, and it's almost like they're trying to make sure that they get themselves cleared. And compared to a lot of other people out on the trails, not everybody came forward. I mean, can you guys imagine if Rick Allen hadn't spoke up and said, I was there, like he did? What people, the guilters, would be saying about him today? He can't win for lose. Well, he said he was there. Well, what if he didn't say he was there? And then they found out years later he had been there. So I just look at that, and that kind of, when they always say that people like to interject themselves, or the suspect likes to interject themselves into, and I'm not saying they're suspects. I just find it odd that, you've got Cheyenne repeatedly contacting law enforcement. Then years later, she's writing them a letter. So I just keep that in the back of your mind and do with it what you will. But it's worth noting.
Well, one of the main reasons that the perpetrators like to get involved is if they can get involved at a deep level, they can lead where the investigation goes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And when you look at it, we've got Cheyenne pushing Ellie away from people like Cheryl Loeffler. We've got Daniel Pearson pushing people away from Shelby Hicks. And Daniel Pearson and Shelby Hicks, their stories, wow, are they a revelation, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They are. And one of the interesting things that I just read, a statement of Shelby Hicks, was, I'm trying to remember all of the things that I didn't see. That's a bizarre statement. I can't
remember all the things I haven't seen.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Yes, and then think about that. You've got Daniel Pearson calling on the 14th to say he was there. You have Daniel Pearson going into law enforcement on the 14th to talk about him being out there. Well, during that time, a tip comes in saying that Daniel Pearson was on the bridge at 2 p.m. Well, within 3 or 4 days, they know this video was taken. They know what time the video started. So publicly, I think people following the case consider Daniel a suspect, but law enforcement he was never in the limelight like, say, a Daniel or a Ron Logan was in this case. There was no search warrant served. He was never a suspect and being pounded like a Garrett Kurtz was. I don't understand why. Is it because of his family connections? And his family, he had family in law enforcement. He had family, I believe, that were involved in city council. Lots of things could factor into that. And and then I think once he felt that he was off the hook, he didn't want to talk about it anymore. So go ahead, Quester.
Well, there's more than enough evidence now that we've seen that places Pearson, he was YBG, definitely. You can put money on it.
I think he was too. I think he was young BG too. And that's...
Yeah. And everything we've learned recently, it says it was him. And the interesting thing is, Shelby Hicks was on the bridge as well.
Well, I'm thinking that Shelby Hicks may not have gotten there yet. Because
the times that I'm working through say she was, but she'd walked out further on the bridge.
Maybe.
Which would explain why Betsy Blair didn't see her. But the thing is, that puts Shelby Hicks fairly close behind Cheyenne.
Yes. And that's why we also have gone over that bridge photo The photo that was taken in 2008 is identical to the one that was taken in 27 or posted in 2017. You lay them over top of each other. They're identical. The tree lines are from 2008 to 2017. There's absolutely no change in the bridge, the deterioration, the tree lines. When that photo was posted to Libby's Snapchat, the camera app wasn't open. It said a media file. And the importance of that is that means if that is the case, that empty bridge photo wasn't taken in real time. Therefore, we can't say the bridge was empty. Not to mention, when that photo hit Libby's Snapchat, they were still 300 meters away from the bridge. Their GPS pinged at 2:05 and 8 seconds. And at 2:05 and 10 seconds, that empty bridge photo was posted. And more evidence to back our statements up about that is the fact that Betsy Blair said she turned around and encountered the girls pretty much exactly where they were standing when that bridge photo was taken.
Yeah. Well, the big problem I've got with thinking that the girl she saw was Cheyenne and her friend is the fact that Cheyenne and her friend were on the bridge just before Daniel. Therefore, if Betsy Blair saw Daniel on the bridge, Cheyenne was already on there, which would mean that the two that she saw when she was coming back can't be them.
Mm-hmm. And
however,
if Betsy Blair is seeing images of the girls on TV, you've got blonde hair, and I would say like a strawberry blonde, reddish hair. Shelby Duncan and Cheyenne both had very dark hair. I mean, almost black hair. So I don't know if she would. I don't know. I don't know. That's why
I would be interested to know the hair color of Faith Inman and Cheryl Loeffler.
I believe Cheryl Loeffler hair is dark too. I don't know about Faith Inman. There's a whole bunch of Faith, and I'm sorry, but I do believe that Faith Inman is a real person.
So do I.
And there are three people in Cheyenne's photos. We've gone over it. We've showed you the shoes, 3 different pairs of shoes. Both pictures Cheyenne claims she took. That's undeniable. There's 3 different pairs of shoes. Never once has Shelby Hicks or Daniel said either one of them crossed the bridge with Cheyenne and Shelby Duncan. Cheyenne and Shelby Duncan never said that Hicks or Pearson crossed the bridge with them. So who are the third pair of shoes? And who's holding the katana stick?
Yeah, Shelby Hicks did say she spoke to Cheyenne, which nails them as having been on the bridge at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, we've now got 3, maybe 4 girls and a boy on the bridge at roughly the same time that they say Abby and Libby were.
Okay. Leanne, did you have a question? You said, I don't think so. Oh, Chester. I thought you said Quester. I'm sorry. You said, I don't think so, Chester. I was going to have Quester answer a question. Sorry. Go ahead.
Chester was asking, did they make Daniel take a lie detector test? I don't think they did they?
I've never heard about one.
No.
No, I think that they considered him, like a cleared witness. Like he's doing the right thing. And, never once. That's the one thing that's frustrating about all of this. These people who actually at the time had access to all of this information, it's like they were getting the information, writing down the information, but they weren't putting the links of the puzzle together. They weren't going back and going, well, if they didn't even ask for Cheyenne's photographs or exactly
even to have a look at her phone, did they?
No. And I can't find one person who ever even asked Daniel Pearson what he was wearing that day.
No. It's just, well, if Daniel says so, it must be true. Off you go, lad.
Mm-hmm. And again, let me reiterate, we're not saying that these people are involved. What we're saying is we are proving that there were people there. And you know, my theory is my theory. My gut tells me that all of these people from the same area of Monticello that have deep connections to the drug dealings all converge on a Monday afternoon on the bridge when this happens. Were people stopping by because they heard something was going to go down or something might go down, or they're there to be lookouts, or whatever the case may be? It needs to be, the truth needs to be gotten. We need to get to the bottom of it. And I say that as we're making it a point to bring the public on board to say, we expect more answers going forward than what we got the first time around.
Well, the fact that all these people are saying nothing says either they're involved or Abby and Libby were not there.
Yeah.
It's the only two choices.
Hey, Big J, you didn't call me the other day. I told you to call me. I know I was supposed to call you the other day too, and I didn't get to. I had grandbabies here. So are we ready to move to the next slide?
Yes, certainly. These are the Shelby Duncan, Faith Inman and Cheryl Loeffler times. And we don't have a lot on them, apart from what you can see here. All we know is Shelby Duncan was with Cheyenne all the way through. Now you'll note that we've got something in there that's saying that Cheyenne said she ran into Shelby Duncan at about 10 to 3. Well, that's absolutely ridiculous, since they both arrived together in the same car.
And we also have the Facebook post from Cheyenne, who said, I got there about 2:50 and my friend arrived around 2:30. Well, Shelby Duncan.
How they do that one in the same car.
Shelby Duncan said that she arrived with Cheyenne in Cheyenne's purple, 300? And it was that they were at France Park that morning together and left France Park to go to the High Bridge. And they arrived. Cheyenne said she was driving a purple 300. Shelby Duncan said she arrived in a purple 300. So who is Cheyenne talking about when she says, my friend arrived at 2:30 before me?
Yep. Want to put the next one up? Shelby Hicks. She's the one who's actually undone a lot of Daniel's stories. There's a few things her grandfather said this, her grandfather said that. Well, that's fine, but let's ignore what her grandfather said and just stick to what we know. In trial, she said she left Monticello at 11:40 to take her car to Lafayette to be serviced. And Daniel said that he parked his car in Delphi. And according to Shelby, she picked him up from there and they went to Monticello. She put the car in for servicing, and then she went to the mall with Daniel to get something to eat. And at 12:40, she got a call from the garage to say her car was ready to collect. Now, if we just take that to start with, it's about an hour's drive from Monticello to Lafayette. So if she started out at 11:40, she would only have arrived at 12:40. So how would she get a call at 12:40 saying the car had been serviced and it was ready to collect? It's impossible. And we all know how long it takes for a garage to get round to servicing your car. You're lucky if it's done in an hour.
And,
but let's
and
say it was.
The car was supposed to be. The car was being fixed in Lafayette. So that means someone had to be with her because her car was being serviced. So she wouldn't need to get a phone call if she sat there at the dealership and waited.
Well, she said that they went to the mall.
Right.
She went with Daniel to the mall to wait. But so if you say, okay,
two cars. They had two cars.
No, they could have walked from the garage to the mall. If she picked up Daniel while going through Delphi and then went on to Lafayette, they'd both be in the same car then. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So she drops the car into the garage. They both go to the mall just to waste time until the car's ready. And if you say the service took an hour and it finished at 12:40, that means the service started at 11:40. It's an hour's drive to Lafayette, which means Shelby had to have left home at 10:40 in the morning. She could not have left home at 11:40 and done all this.
Is it? I don't know if it's is it really an hour drive? I feel like it's less than that. I mean, it's a good drive, but I don't know if it's a full hour. Who dis is saying a 20-minute drive at least. I think it's, yes, Questor is saying mall. Yes, his exquisite accent pronounces it mall. But
you've got to remember that because Daniel parked in Delphi, Shelby had to detour to pick him up into Delphi and then back out. So that's more time. And that all adds up. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So I think saying an hour journey is being fair. If it's more than that, because they, I don't know, took a bit of time with the cars in Delphi, then it pushes it back to having left before 10:40. But already we've messed up their timeline by their own words. So we've got her going to collect her car at 12:40. Now it's a 35-minute drive approximately back to Delphi. And it's about another 5-minute drive from there to the Mears lot. That's 40 minutes. Now I gave you that time to Delphi on the basis of, I believe they drove back to Daniel's vehicle and he collected it, and they both drove to Mears. And you'll find out why I believe that in a moment. But anyway, 35 minutes to Delphi, 5 minutes to Mears lot. We're talking another 40 minutes. They arrived at Mears lot about 1:20. What time did they say they arrived? Amy?
Well, Daniel, I believe, tries to say that he got there like around 3. I can't remember off the top of my head, but his timeline is completely inaccurate but the time that he's saying he got there, because it's fuckery, because the time that he's claiming he got there, he would have gotten there after Cheyenne and Shelby Duncan. But according to Shelby Duncan and Cheyenne, Pearson was already on the bridge when they arrived. So his timeline can't be right. And and he throws in that quirky addition of when we came back to Delphi, I parked my car at the Delphi police station. I mean, why would you do that?
Good question, but if you follow it through, you find that's a lie as well, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, if this is correct and it's less than an hour from Monticello to Lafayette, well, that makes it worse. That would mean that they got to Mears even earlier, before 1 o'clock. So my figures are actually doing them a favour, as it were.
And all of it is possible. All of it's possible when you've got Daniel Pearson. And I actually have this post in here from Daniel Pearson saying, I'm the only one who's passed the 16-year-old witness. Well,
he was on the trail at the right time to do it.
Right.
So we have him at Mears about 20 past 1. According to them, they walked all the way up to the Blue Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've been kind to them on this and said it was 15 minutes. It's more than that, I believe, isn't it, Amy?
From Mears to the Blue Bridge is about maybe 10 minutes.
Right.
And that's if you're walking. Okay, so we know from Julie Melvin's walk, and she was walking with a major purpose, like the 4-girl group claimed the grumpy guy was doing, walking with a purpose. And she walked from the Freedom Bridge, the entrance of the trail, all the way to the Monon High Bridge in 10 minutes. But she was walking very fast. So
it's 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that puts them at Freedom Bridge at 1:30. We know a song about that. 1:30, don't we? Everybody's there at 1:30. That's when Grumpy Man's meant to have been seen there. That's when I think it was Brian Mars was there with his dog. It's when Rayleigh Voorhees was there.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got
I mean, you guys remember,
and Richard Allen's supposed to be there. Remember as well.
Richard Allen's supposed to be there, and Betsy Blair claims that she saw the 4 girls on the Red Bridge on her way back from the library, and she's seen on the Hoosier Harvest Store camera at 1:46. So then we've got this eyewitness that's in the CAD report who called in on the evening of the 13th, claiming she saw girls down on the Heartland Highway goofing around at 1 o'clock. Where are all of these people?
There is a party going on at Freedom Bridge at 1:30. It's almost like, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Richard Allen somehow managed to walk through all of that and only get seen by one person. And he was seen wearing the wrong clothes, obviously, and he was being grumpy at the time. But none of the others saw him.
Mm-hmm.
He would have had to barge his way through that crowd.
Yeah, I mean, when you mosh pit all these times up, and you take, remember, we're taking all of the statements and all of the times that these people have given, and we're showing you what, this is what it could have been based on all this information. Go ahead, Quester.
Well, there's other things involved here. Let's just say Richard Allen was there at 1:30. Yeah. And he was seen by Rayleigh Voorhees. And Daniel Pearson says he saw Rayleigh. Therefore, they were both there as well. Rayleigh saw Richard Allen. Daniel didn't. Both of them saw the man with the dog. Now, the man with the dog had come from the other side of Freedom Bridge. He'd parked in that big car park on the other side of the highway. So he'd just walked across Freedom Bridge. But they don't seem to have seen him. But he saw them. Now, if Richard Allen had been walking through there, he would now be walking down the trails. Yeah? Which means Betsy Blair would have had to have bumped into him very quickly. But she didn't. I've racked my brain on this. I spent a whole day just on this one problem, trying to work out what on earth could have happened. And there is only one answer that will fit. And that is, if it was Richard Allen they saw, he was leaving at 1:30. He got to the Blue Bridge before the man with the dog got onto Freedom Bridge. It's the only way that can work.
And to put it in perspective for the guilters, I feel like when I listen to some of their arguments that they're holding Rick Allen to this higher standard than anybody else. Let's just remember that Betsy Blair didn't see any of the 4 girls. And I think probably 15 episodes back, I mapped it out and I showed you on a map. There were 4 possible areas on the trail where Betsy Blair should have encountered that 4-girl group. And she claimed she didn't see them. She didn't see anybody. And guess what? The 4-girl group never said they saw her either. Are they just forgetting? Did she not stand out? That's why Rayleigh's testimony is so important for someone to clarify when she says, we went down the side of the bridge. Okay. And that plays 2 different major roles. One is based on the time that they were out there. It's a 7-minute walk from the bridge, Monon High Bridge, back to the intersection. And if you're coming back from the or you're coming back from the Monon High Bridge, you turn left to go down that Niches Trail to the water. That's 14 minutes eaten up just in walking to get from the bridge down the Niches Trail. But that 14 minutes isn't eaten up by walking if they went just straight down the side of the bridge. And I know I had said originally, and I'll correct myself again, based on me being out there over the past couple of years, at this point in time, that slope off the side of the bridge, you can't not go down now. It's eroded. But luckily, All Eyes had images and video back in close to 2017 when it was possible to go down that side of the bridge. So that's important. And the second part of that, it's important as to part of Betsy Blair's loop could have been during the time the girls were down at the water and she didn't see them. However, she did 2 loops from the time that she arrived. She did 2 whole loops during the entire time that the Rayleigh Voorhees group was out there. Because remember, the girls arrived, according to Bree Wilbur's photo of the Freedom Bridge, at 12:25. So it's almost impossible to believe that they didn't encounter each other ever. And neither party claimed they saw the other. But because Rick says he didn't see anybody but 3 girls, he's a liar. And I can guarantee you, when all the truth comes out, everybody that was on the trails that day who were asked, especially near trial, do you still have your phone from 2017? The answer is no. Do you know where that phone is? I don't know. I've changed phones multiple times since then, but oh no, Rick's held to a higher standard. He got rid of his 2017 phone But let me remind you also, he's one of the only ones who actually met with law enforcement and handed over his phone and said, here, you can look at it, you can go through it, take the battery out, write down the EMI number. He never heard from them again. So it's not his responsibility to keep that phone in safekeeping just in case years later he's going to be accused of a murder. Go ahead. I always go on my soapbox. I'm sorry, Quester.
I know what we've got here now is supposedly Rick Allen is wandering down the trail. He's got through the big crowd at Freedom Bridge with only one or two people noticing him, the rest didn't. And he's wandering down almost side by side with the man who's got the dog. And they're walking side by side down there. They go past Betsy Blair, but she doesn't see him. The man with the dog doesn't see the man he's walking next to. Betsy Blair turns around, comes all the way back down, walks past these two people, goes past the intersection, and goes and sees Daniel standing on platform 1. She's not seen anybody. And Rick Allen now is behind her, behind Daniel, behind Cheyenne, behind all of them. But somehow he gets past them all, including the ones who are on the bridge, without them seeing. Meanwhile, we have Betsy Blair turns around, comes back up and sees two girls.
Sorry.
It's okay. Now, Cheyenne has said some incredibly weird things. She saw Daniel and Shelby between Mears Lot and the bridge. Well, she couldn't have done because she was in front of them. She couldn't have seen them until on the way back. But then they left before she got off the bridge. The only time she could have seen them was when they were on the bridge. But going back to Shelby Hicks, we can just about prove that she was on the bridge with Daniel and she crossed that bridge and she talked to Cheyenne. Now, in trial, she said they were on the bridge for about 20 minutes. Now, if they're on the bridge at the start of 2 o'clock, that means they didn't get off until 20 past 2. It was just before, then they got off about 10 past 2. So you can see they are there on the bridge when all these photographs are being taken, when the video is being made. Yet they didn't see the girls, they didn't see BG, they didn't see anything. There's a limit to how much you can believe, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. And Shelby Hicks has said numerous times she saw other kids out there.
That's correct. And there were. Now, yes. Ollie has mentioned you've got to throw McCain into the mix. You certainly have. Because McCain said that he saw a couple on the bridge. And that couple was obviously Daniel and Shelby. And that sighting does two things. Number one, it puts David McCain at the north end of the bridge at 2 o'clock or after while Daniel was there. And number two, it puts David McCain on the trails a long time before he said he was. So we've got another person telling porkies. There's an incredible amount of people getting their times wrong. And they're all people who are at this party on the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we have come back to Shelby. We have her supposedly leaving the bridge, about 10 past 2. but we don't know anything about her for the next half an hour. She's disappeared as well, just like Cheyenne and the rest of them. They disappeared from the South End for half an hour. This is getting weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's all weird.
Yeah. We have a whole crowd of girls at the South End, and they all disappeared at the same time.
Now, and guys, just remember, this is all hypothetical. We're not saying that these people are involved. We're showing you what their times, how the timeline should have been dissected with a fine-tooth comb. Go ahead, Quester.
Right. So the next time Shelby is seen is at 20 to 3, and she's seen by Riley, a dog walker. There's actually, I think, 3 dog walkers that were out there that day. As I say, 30 odd minutes unaccounted for. We then have, it gets even funnier. Shelby said that she left the bridge at 3:30. Well, if that's the case, how on earth did David Riley see her at 20 to 3? Why on earth did she say in trial that they're only on for 20 minutes? But anyway, let's follow that lie. They left the bridge at 3:30, went back to Mears, and then we get the whole Camden and the Amish community story driving around. And at the end of that, what do we get, Amy? Go on, I'll let you tell them.
Well, you know, they left in Shelby Hicks's car, drove around Camden, drove around Amish country, stopped at a gas station and bought an energy drink. And then Shelby Hicks testifies that Daniel dropped her off at her car.
Yeah.
So so can we get into that really quick, Quester, about, so we believe at the time Daniel Pearson was driving a white truck, and
yes,
I don't recall anyone reporting a white truck being at the Mears lot, unless I'm completely forgetting about one. So what is your take about
somebody did actually report a white truck and a white car parallel parked opposite Mears lot.
Wouldn't the white car have been Shelby Hicks's car, or was that a different car?
It was with paper plates, if I remember right, and there were 2 white cars out there with paper plates, weren't there?
There was supposedly a Dodge Dart, and then there was Shelby Hicks's white Impala with the paper plates.
Yeah.
And to go back to Shelby Hicks slipping up at trial and saying Daniel dropped me off at my car, Daniel's claiming they left his car at the Delphi police station and took Shelby Hicks's car to the trails. That makes 0 sense why they would do that. But if they left the trails, how did they get to Daniel Pearson's car at the police station when I believe Shelby Hicks's car was the car that was left at the trails while they went cruising around?
Yeah. If their story is true, then they could only have gone. If the story is true, they could only have gone to Camden in her car. They couldn't go in his because his was parked over by the Delphi police. So if their story is true, they had to come back in her car to drop her off at her car.
Right. And where did he park? Why did he lie about it? And where was his car seen?
The whole story seems to be to take his vehicle away from the trials.
Mm-hmm. Right. That exactly. He wanted. So if somebody had said they saw a white truck out there, a white pickup truck, and I believe it has a toolbox in the back. if I remember correctly.
I believe it did, yeah.
People couldn't say it belonged to him because he claimed he parked at the police station. But I think and that's a factual statement. He did make that statement. That is a fact.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to inform him, but there's more than likely cameras at the police station. Do I think they ever checked? Hell no.
I very much doubt it. Wouldn't want to do that, would they?
No. Yeah, no.
No. Because, of course, if his vehicle was captured at Mears lot, like, for instance, being on the Hoover's Harvester camera, that would nail him for what time they arrived, wouldn't it?
Right, yes.
And they had to drive past that camera to get there. But funnily enough, there's no picture of them in the collection of snips that Mullins took. I wonder why he omitted them.
Mm-hmm.
And omitted the Cheyenne ones.
Are you ready for me to bump to the next slide?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, no problem.
Right. If I do Skylar first, Skylar Ebenoff. Now,
okay,
she
so
said,
explain. Okay, so explain to the viewers who Skylar Ebenoff is. Ebenhoff.
She is allegedly, or she was, Daniel Pearson's fiance at the time, which is quite interesting because Shelby Hicks was telling everyone that she was going out with Daniel at the time. But anyway, Skylar Ebenoff in a white car, another one, arrived about 1:30 and parked on the side of the road by Mears. A white car parked on the side of the road by Mears. Where have we heard that before? And at 1:30, she saw the burgundy car there, Cheyenne's. So she's basically confirmed that Cheyenne was there before 1:30. Sorry, Amy?
I was going to ask you because it's been a long time since I've looked at the Skylar information. Is this from your dusty old files? The Skylar Ebenoff?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, she said that she went down to the nature reserve first. So if she parked at 1:30, it's only been, 5 minutes, and she was gone down to the nature reserve. We don't hear about her again. But I doubt that she stayed there for the rest of her life.
I love you.
But there's two choices. She either came back up or she walked round to under the bridge and then came back. It's only two things you can do from there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Now, and so let me kind of put this in more perspective with why all of this needs to be dug into badly. Because we've heard for years that David McCain told Derek German there was a couple arguing under the bridge. Now, in all fairness, I have also heard that that statement was never made, and that was something that Becky Patty just blurted out, that she claimed David McCain told Derek. I don't know. So many things were not asked at trial. Therefore,
apparently the word under wasn't said.
That's what exactly. But okay. You've got Daniel out there on the trail. Back early on in 2017, this was a hot topic, that there was a couple there arguing. And what more of an argument can you ask for than a fiance catching her boyfriend out on a date, not only with another female, but a coworker? Because Shelby Hicks and Daniel Pearson had worked together for quite some time in a bar in Delphi for a couple of years before they even started like messing around or dating. Then add in the clump of hair that was found by the barrier. Did we have a cat fight? I'm just saying this stuff needs to be getting to the bottom of, period.
Yeah. Now, if you go back to what we were saying before about two cars parallel parked, what if one of them was Skylar Ebanoff's and the other one was Daniel?
Notice he said, what if? He didn't say it's a fact. He said, what if? I just don't want anybody coming back in the chat going, well, that's not true. He's saying, what if?
Yeah, following the what if, that would put the two cars that were reported there and also allow for Daniel Pearson and Shelby Hicks to be in one car. It would also fit if Daniel Pearson drove them to Camden and then came back. But then we have the problem of where was Shelby Hicks's car?
Do you think it's possible that day that Daniel Pearson could have drove his fiance's car?
It still wouldn't answer why he took her back to collect her car, though, would it?
No,
because they've already got her car.
Yeah. There's so many holes. There's so many holes.
Yeah. Far too many holes.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Daniel Pearson, he said he saw Reddy Voorhees at 1:30-ish. Well, that puts him there, as I was saying, in the big party at excuse me, at Freedom Bridge. But then you've got to say, well, in that case, where was Shelby? Now, that girl that was sellotaped to his arm, she had to be there too. Yeah. She said they only walked halfway and then turned round.
That's what she testified to. So they only walked halfway and then turned around.
Yeah.
But years before that, fact, it will come out eventually. Years before she testified, she said they walked to Freedom Bridge and then went into the woods.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing with Daniel Pearson is it was him who said that they went further than Freedom Bridge. They walked to the Red Bridge. So that would have put them on the Red Bridge about 1:35, 25 to 2. What was the time that Betsy Blair saw people crossing the Red Bridge? Can you remember, Amy?
What time she saw the girls crossing the Red Bridge?
Yeah.
So really quick, everybody, Angel Eyes is a major supporter of this channel. I'm going to support him. I hope all of you will too. I'm going live on his channel on Monday morning to discuss Ashley's case. Please show him some love. I've dropped his link in the chat. Go over and hit subscribe and turn your notifications on, please. Well, thank you, Michael Osbrook, for the approval. So we know she's seen Betsy Blair is seen on the Hoosier Harvester camera at 1:46 heading to the Mears lot. So you have to back her up, back around, going back up underneath the railroad bridge. I have that at approximately between 144 and 145. It's depending on what her speed was. So 144, 145, because she's seen on the Hoosier Harvestor camera at 146. So a minute to a minute and a half. What all that would be needed to get to in front of the camera, that's at the Hoosier Harvestor. So if her version or her memory is accurate that she did see 4 girls up there, it would have had to have been around 144, 145. And
that was pretty close to when that was pretty close to when Daniel Pearson and Shelby Hicks were on that bridge as well.
It could have been, yes. If you take their timelines and you blend it all together, yes. But then again, the only problem is you've got a solid witness in Betsy Blair. Although I think there's only one thing about her recollection that I question, but that doesn't affect her visual accounts, just her timing. So you have to remember, if her witness testimony is correct and she's seen the 4 girls at 144, 145, Rayleigh Voorhees testified that she seen the grumpy man entering the trails. They were still on the trails, she said, in the wooded part, and he was coming into the trails when they passed him at 2:15. So how are they? And again, this is on the record. She testified to that. So she's going to be held to that unless a prosecution can say she proved that she misspoke. But again, you've got this other 4 girls down on Heartland Highway that a witness called in around 1 o'clock. So, and the shittiest thing about all of this is that all of these interviews supposedly have been lost. Because sorry, 1 second. We can take their trial testimony, but I would prefer what they said in their interviews the week of this murder. I would hold that. I would put more weight in those interviews than what they said at trial, especially based on the fact that they were left alone for years, possibly, thinking that they may never be a part of the case or ever called as a witness. Memories change. Your memory can be influenced by conversations that you had, what you've read over, you know what I'm saying? Those interviews back then were so very important, and they lost them. And you can believe whatever you want about law enforcement. It was supposed to be a new DVR system. I can't imagine within the first couple of weeks of this crime that they used up so much memory of a DVR that it just started recording over again when it was a brand new system. We also know that multiple witnesses were interviewed at different places, and it's never really been explained. Okay, was it just at the jail, the police station where they were brought to interview, where those interviews were missing? I do believe there's an interview that's recorded of Betsy Blair, but what about the rest of them? And the second they realized they were lost, they never felt the need to go back and re-interview.
Okay. But the rest of the stuff here with Daniel Pearson is basically a carbon copy of what it was with Shelby Hicks. But there is one important thing to notice there. He arrived at Mears Lot 1320, and he said he saw a white station wagon and a dark-coloured car there. Time-wise, the dark car works out to David McCain. Fair enough. But the white station wagon. Remember what we were saying earlier about there wasn't one there, Amy? There was one, wasn't there?
We
Daniel
have numerous. We have
Yeah.
numerous. We have numerous witnesses at different times. And the key point of that is that even though they're all different times, they're all prior to 3/11 or 3/15 when Derek German actually arrived. And his testimony was that he called Libby for the first time as he was crossing Wilson's Bridge at 3/11. So why are there reports of witnesses saying they seen a white Subaru at the Mears lot before that? Again,
Yeah. It's not just one, is it?
Not, right. And not making accusations, but these are the facts of the case. These are the facts that were literally not pinned down. Fig, no, they actually, from what I understand, they actually had a new system, a new recording system. And, you know, I guess we have to take their word for it that it was just incompetency that they allowed it to, you know, run out of storage and then start recording over again. Or you can either accept that or think that they were discarded on purpose. There's really only one or two answers.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. If we look at that little drawing at the bottom, that's sort of a depiction of the trail and the bridge, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you see on the left where it says ANL not moving, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Below that it says.
Go ahead.
Below that. Hello.
Yeah. No. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah. Below that it says two girls, and it's got arrows going in two different directions. Now that's because, according to Daniel Pearson, he saw two girls there walking up the trails. According to Shelby Hicks, she saw two girls there walking towards the bridge. Now, a little bit earlier, they saw nothing, did they?
Right. They've said all three things.
No, yes, they've said all three things. They saw nobody. They saw two girls walking north. They saw two girls walking south. And
at trial, the two girls turned into I saw some other kids out there. That was Shelby Hicks's testimony.
But if that's the same two girls, that it couldn't be the same two girls that Betsy Blair saw, could it?
I mean,
how could Daniel and Shelby have seen them before Betsy Blair? Couldn't.
Right. Right.
Because they were on the bridge while Betsy Blair was walking back.
Right. But the GPS does prove that at 1:51, the girls were right there. Abby and Libby were right there on the trail. And they were there for 13 minutes. And this location, whether it was Abby or Libby or not, this same location is where Betsy Blair claims she passed them.
Yeah.
Make that make sense. I mean, it's definitely it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And, you know, it's going to be up to somebody else, the powers that be, who figure it out, or who make the determination, because, you know, we've had a slow drip of information come to us, and we have tried to share all of it with you as much as we're permitted. And when we've had to go back and make changes, we have. And this right here is kind of a coalition of what happens when you put everybody's statements together, how it can recreate this whole timeline, and it makes everybody look like liars. And it also proves that Rick Allen wasn't the only one out on the trails that day, the only man out on the trails that day.
It also proves that if it was him who was BG, there's an awful lot of people knew it and were involved.
Yeah. And okay, continue.
Want to go for the next one?
Sure. I think that was the last one.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that was the last one. We can go back up here. So you guys all know that we've talked about the Questor found. Well, here, I'll read this one more time just to kind of put the icing on the cake about. Now, this post was attached to Daniel Pearson. And the one thing that really lines this up for me is the fact that apparently Matt Hoffman had made it public that that Kelsey and Libby were in a screaming match at the Mears lot, and everybody heard it. I've never been able to verify that. It was something that he discussed, I guess, publicly somewhere. I believe it was online. So just put that in the back of your head and, take it with a grain of salt. But that is something that was emphatically stated by the people who heard it or read it. So many people wonder about this sketch still. I will explain it once and for all. The sketch you see below took 5 months to create and was released on July 17th, 2017. The sketch was made with the input of 2 witnesses and Libby's video. The 2 witnesses are the 16-year-old girl who saw the killer on his approach near Freedom Bridge and in his disguise. The other witness is me, Daniel Pearson. Now, when did that story change?
Before you go on, Amy, they're talking about the sketch of OBG, old BG, aren't they?
I believe he was. And by the time we got to trial, we were told that sketch was made by Sarah Carball.
Yeah. Well, the OBG sketch was the first one that was drawn right at the start. It was not drawn 5 months later. It was released 5 months later.
Right. So, and he's saying released July 17th. Maybe it was created on July 17th. But if that's the case, that's not true either, because Sarah Carball didn't come forward until 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
The sketch was made.
Story doesn't work.
Right. The sketch was made with I read that. The other witness is me, Daniel Pearson. As you can see by the quotes below, I was close enough to even see his eye color. But remember the girl I was with. She saw nothing. So police didn't really question her. Remember Cheyenne and her friend? They said they were there too, but didn't see this guy either. Only me. So they didn't get questioned too hard either. Out of the 4 people, the 4 unreliable witnesses who say they were there at the time, I'm the only one who saw the bridge guy, so I'm the only one who can help with the sketch. To me, if Daniel Pearson actually wrote this, to me, this is somebody who is adamant to take control of the narrative. Because I do know in the very beginning, he did make these allegations that he saw the bridge guy. And then it changed to, well, the bridge guy turned into David McCain. But then I want to go back to something that Skip pointed out, which was when Daniel Pearson was in there on the 14th, he later claimed that he was shown pictures of a man in the funny painter's hat. And he said, yes, that's the guy that I saw. However, that early after the girls were found, David McCain hadn't come forward yet. So how did law enforcement know David McCain was on the trails at all to show Daniel Pearson the picture? Now, this is, let me capitalize in quotes, these are allegations, somewhat rumor, speculation, but these all have carried weight from the very beginning. These are things that were repeatedly said from the very beginning. And just like the law enforcement's theory of this case was something they pushed for years until they arrested Rick Allen. Then they wanted you to forget all of that and start this whole new narrative of it was a lone wolf. So do with that what you want, but these are all of the things that make you really go, So,
and how did he at that time know that the other witness was a 16-year-old girl?
Right. So he says there's really no need to question my alibi. Guys, don't even bother questioning my alibi. There's really no need to question my alibi witnesses too hard. They saw nothing. Plus, they're scared. The only thing they're good for is my alibi. Really? And doesn't it seem fairly odd that maybe this was all to protect Daniel? Those three girls, the way that they were, adjusting their times, changing their times, as more information came out about the crime, when the time came out about when, the video started at 2:13, everybody then started pushing their times of arrival further up. You got Cheyenne saying, well, we arrived there at 2:15. Well, now that we know the bridge guy video started at 2:13, we better not say that. We better say we were there after 3 o'clock. I mean, you just don't know. The only thing they're good for is my alibi. Now, why would I come forward if I'm the killer? Exactly. That's exactly what I ask about Richard Allen. Richard Allen did not go home, rush to clean up his car, muddy, bloody, get rid of his clothes, be laying on the couch as a brand new, for the first time in his life, after committing a double homicide of 2 little girls that he knew as the killer would be found in the woods. What does he do? He tells his wife, I was on the trails today. Why would he do that if he's the killer? Good question, Daniel. Is it because I saw McCain up on the bridge after Libby yelled? What? Does that mean that what's been said about Matt Hoffman possibly true? Does that have anything to do with the clump of hair found at the barrier? I mean, was there an argument or a confrontation between Libby and Kelsey? We do know that Kelsey had access to all of Libby's social media. We know that it wasn't because Kelsey had her password saved in her phone that she could access them. No. Kelsey lost her phone, supposedly, or misplaced it on her way to the fire department. And she stopped and she picked up Bree on the way. And she was using Bree's phone to access Libby's social media accounts. That tells me Kelsey knew them by heart. Or are we supposed to believe that Bree also had access to Libby's social media and had her password saved? Was there an argument? Is this why Kelsey has changed her story so many times? Because she's so flustered that she knew the girls were up to no good, or she knew the girls were going to go meet someone that they shouldn't be meeting, like some random person online. Was there a cat fight? Was their hair pulled? And as Abby and Libby are on the trail, maybe they stopped for 13 minutes to gain their composure. And Libby's, maybe fixing her hair because her sister just pulled it. And that's where the clump of hair came from. I'm just throwing out scenarios. I'm just saying where my brain goes, trying to make it all make sense. You know, where is this clump of hair? Why did we never hear about it? A clump of hair to me tells me that that's a nice handful of hair, a clump of hair. Law enforcement described it as a clump of hair. I bet it wasn't rootless. Now, why would I come forward if I'm the killer? Is it because I know I passed that 16-year-old girl? There it is. Did you? I mean, if he wrote this, that changes his whole entire, I mean, that shifts his whole entire claims to being on the trails, at least.
But we know that's correct from another source, which I won't identify at the moment.
Yes.
That he did pass her. And for those who are saying this could be the bogus person who had an account in his name, that bogus person wouldn't have known that. There's several things in here that only Daniel would have known.
Right. And I've said it multiple times while I'm reading this. If Daniel Pearson wrote this, did I find out about the other sketch the police had, the one made with the help of Brad Heath? Now, that's inaccurate. By February 17th, it could be any one or a combo of the above. Brad Heath, to my knowledge, never made a sketch.
I'm not aware of one by him, no.
But I do believe, I am aware that there is, I know that we've seen 5 or 6 sketches, but actually I believe there's 8 to 9 sketches that were actually created. And some of those have not been seen by us. So let's go up here. I want to take, if you guys remember, we've talked a lot about the crime scene, the secondary crime scene. Well, we can call it a third crime scene because we know that the south end of the bridge was roped off with crime scene tape, and I don't know, and it's very possible that law enforcement had all of that the south end of the bridge all the way down both of those hills, the creek area and the other side of the creek where the crime scene actually was. They might have considered that one crime scene. We also have a supplemental report of an officer being directed to go out and set up a secondary crime scene off of the private drive where the gloves were found, up on the private drive heading towards Brad Weber's house. And those were collected. We've never heard about them. So this crime scene that you see here is one that we've been talking about that's right there next to the Mears lot. And Quester, located within this picture, it looks to be a red crime scene flag, as if maybe, does this maybe mean that they found something and marked it? Because we know that several people said they had flags from the crime scene all the way back over to the trails, and they were left after the crime scene was released. So that's just an image that I wanted to show you. And then lastly, we will talk about Cheyenne's bridge picture. Can I get just everybody, can you put a 1 in the chat if you think this photo has fog in it? If you don't think so, don't put anything. If you think it does, just put a 1. Hey, Mother of Dragons. So some of you are already, yeah. So to be fair, my first thought, and I think Quester, yours is. And I know, I even know back when she was here, Fungi did as well, believe that this was fog based on the clarity of the bridge up close in the photo to looking further out. And, once again, if law enforcement would have collected the phones and extracted them, everybody on the trail within that time frame should have been heavily looked at. And it doesn't take very long to plug a phone in and download what's on it. And then you can go back and compare. So with Snapchat, you've got one or two options. You can take the photo on Snapchat and post it. You can take the photo on Snapchat and not post it, but save it to your Snapchat memory. Or you can take the photo on your camera and save it in your camera roll and post it at another time. So if this is fog, if it is fog, we will probably never know. But doing the research on the fog that day, you guys can screenshot this if you want, but here, let me pull these two. I have two photos I'm going to pull in here real quick to show you the breakdown of the day on the 13th. So in order to get fog, you have to have Michael Osbrook, yes, they're apps. Yes. I'll address that in just a second. You need to be near 100% humidity, and that's where this is what I was reading, Quester, in response to your question about the link. From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., the closest we get to 100% humidity is 87.22%, and then the rest of the day, there's absolutely no way that there would be any fog possible at all. And it is not even indicative that there was fog that morning. So if this is fog in her photo, there wasn't fog on the bridge on the 13th. The bridge sits up too high for there to be a fog layer over the Deer Creek in the morning. It wouldn't be, it would be over the creek. It wouldn't have, expanded all the way up above the bridge like that photo shows. And whoops. So just to reiterate, where'd I go? The photo that we're talking about, the post that was made with the photo, Cheyenne is claiming I was there around 3:45 and 3:50. The other girl that I ran into didn't know she was going to be there, and I also know her personally was there at 3:30. That's not what she testified to. She testified that she got there at 2:50. Yet here she is one more time. Let me show it again. Why we're having these discussions. I saw them on the way to the trails. So who? I saw them on the way to the trails. Who did you see, Cheyenne? Because you didn't testify at trial to seeing anyone. It was just me and my friend, female. While we were on the bridge, an old man with white hair stood around at the front of the bridge for a few minutes, and then he left. Well, at trial, you said you passed the old man on your way to the bridge. And he was coming from the bridge. While we were on the bridge, an old man with white hair stood around at the front of the bridge for a few minutes, and then he left. The only other thing I saw was the dad of one of those girls in a parked car. That was when I was leaving. Oh, and I got to the trails around 2:15, 2:20. Took the picture everyone talks about before 3 o'clock from one of the platforms. And I'm assuming the picture that she's talking about, that everybody was talking about, was the picture of her feet and another person's feet with the katana sword, and people thought that she had blood on her ripped jeans. So back to Osbrook's question. Yes, there's absolutely real reason to believe that the law did get an extraction from Kelsey's phone, because everybody, you need to go over to True Crime Grit, listen to Christine read from her notes. She states they have Kelsey's downloaded phone information. So that's Christine Salzer says that on her interview. Michael Osbrook says, well, we do have a witness who can tell us whether it was foggy. I'll ask. Perfect. Quester, do you have anything else?
Not on those, I don't think, no.
Okay. Well, that's all we've got for today, guys. Really quick, let me, one more time, I'm going to post the oral arguments link is up for, I know it's early, but while you guys got the opportunity, go over there, hit the notification bell, share it, because I will be covering it hopefully from Delphi, or Indianapolis. And make sure that you also go over to Angel Eyes' channel and give it a like and a subscribe. Check out the post on the community page about the Delphi research trip that I'm planning, and read read the things that I plan on doing while I'm out there, that I'm going to be bringing straight to you guys. And I also want you to know that I'm planning on doing sort of a creator roundtable live while we're there, in an evening towards the end of the trip, bringing all of us together who've been out there, boots on the ground, visiting the crime scene, doing all of the different things that we plan on doing. I'm going to fix my fellow creators a big Italian dinner. And yes, Michael Osbrook, you're invited. And we're going to do a live and kind of go around the room and discuss the work that we've done, why we've been out there, the case, and we're going to make all of you guys a part of that. So it's hopefully, if all goes well with my surgery, and I get to go, that's my plan. So if you can support the research trip, please do. The information is on the community page, and look for my Patreon account to be, yes, absolutely. Shaboogies is invited. Girls have tiffs. I'm a big girl. Shaboogies is invited. I said that at the very beginning of this live. So anywho, the Patreon, I'll post. I'm going to start going through a lot of the Delphi vaults, and posting it there. And guys, I'm kind of really digging in on growing this channel, especially because I'm going to have the opportunity to be off for a long period of time, and I can dedicate daily and pick up some other cases that I would like to work on. Also, lastly, I'm hoping, if I get the presentation done tonight, I'm hoping to do a deep dive tomorrow on my home state, I hate to call it this, but the House of Horror case that was just discovered a little, almost 2 weeks ago, with the 16 kids. That's about an hour away from me. I've kind of waited to see how this is all played out, and I want to do one big deep dive with all of the information that's been surfacing so far. And if I can get that done tonight, I will post it. I would love for you guys to join me. Who knows? There's going to be 16 kids who need probably a lot of help and a lot of rehabilitation. And if the news is, which I believe it is, the news is accurate, the mother who's currently sitting in the county jail down there, she's currently pregnant again. So I hopefully will be live tomorrow with that. Quester, if you would like to join me, you're more than welcome to. I always love having you. Anything you would like to add, Quester?
Yeah, I like Italian food, and it sounds like I'm missing out.
Say that again.
I said, I like Italian food, and it sounds like I'm going to miss out.
Yeah, well, fly on over. God, I would love for you to come over. Yeah, I like to cook. So I think I'm going to, at least one night, do a big dinner for all my friends that, have supported me along the way, been on the channel. Again, it's going to be a good time. And I know Streets of Bakersfield has never been to Indiana. I'm going to love to show her around. And I'm hoping I'm going to get the opportunity to actually show her some areas that are of importance in Ashley's case as well, because she's a diehard for Ashley. I will be visiting Ashley in prison while I'm there. So yeah, it's going to be a jam-packed trip. So yeah. So wish you were closer, Quester, or wish you would just hop on a plane and come on over.
Yeah, it's a little bit far, unfortunately. Never mind.
Yeah. Glad to know I'm in the chat. That's a problem on some other channels. Well, you know what, Michael? You're the man as far as I'm concerned. So, I throw down words for you. So anywho, everybody, thanks for being here. Enjoying the rest of your Saturday. I'm going to go to the grocery store, my second home. And Quester, you enjoy the rest of your day. Guys, as soon as I end the stream, please don't forget to hype the video. It's going to help the algorithm a lot. And always, leave your chat your questions in the chat or your comments. I try to get to them. Quester is great about answering your questions. So either one of us, but he's more on top of it than I am. So if you're on the replay crew, you won't be ignored. All right, guys, finish your Saturday off strong. Enjoy the weekend. See you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye all.
Bye.